Today we're learning to problem solve by creating equations from a given situation and using our knowledge of solving these equations to find the answer to whatever question is asked of us, whatever question is posed really. Right, so I've got a couple of examples then, maybe a couple for you to freeze the video and try, and we'll run through that. So simple ones just now, just dealing with some numbers, and then we'll deal with some other aspects to problem solving a bit later on. So just a quick rundown of a couple of questions here. Right, so first question I've got is, I'll think of a number, I'm going to multiply it by 3, and I'm going to add 4 onto it. And the answer that I get when I do that is 19. So what number would I really start with? So let's try that out. Okay, let's try it in a mathematical kind of context and we'll make up an equation to start with. So the number that I'm thinking of, I'm going to say from a mathematical point of view, I'm going to say that that number there is the number. It's a number and it's x I'm going to assign to that number, okay? Right, so let's follow the instructions that we've got in the question that's here, okay? So I think of a number, so I've got x, okay? I'm going to multiply it by 3, so I could say times by 3 at that side there, or why don't I just do it from a mathematical point of view, or in a bit of algebra. 3x, okay, means 3 times x, okay? Then the next instruction is I'm adding on 4 to it, so let's add on 4 to that. So I've got 3x plus 4, and the answer to that is 19. So I've got an answer of 19 coming in there, okay? So what I've done there is I've created an equation out of a little simple kind of situation that I've got, just dealing with a missing number that we're going to try and work out. So now what I can do is I can use the knowledge I've got for solving equations to try to work out what that number I started with. So let's go and do our solving equations. So don't want the 4 on that side, I'm going to kind of take that away from there. So I'm taking 4 away, which will eliminate that there. So I'm going to take 4 away from the right hand side. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. Okay, so that leaves me on the left hand side with 3x is equal to, and I've got 19 take away 4, that's going to give me 15. I'm then going to divide this side by 3, because I don't want 3x, I want 1x, or just x on its own. And that's going to eliminate these 3's, and that's leaving me with 1x is equal to 3 into 15 is going to be 5. So there's my answer. So my number is 5. Okay? Here we go. Right, can you try the questions that are here? Just freeze the video, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and show you the solutions to them. Right. Here we go. Right, I think of a number and then I multiply it by 2, so a relatively simple one. The answer's 10. What's my number? Okay, it's thinking of a number, I'm going to assign x to that number there. So I've got x, I'm going to multiply it by 2, so that'll give me 2x. My answer's 10. 10. I'm going to try and find out what the number is. I'm going to find the number, I'm going to divide this side by 2. Okay, cancel that out, divide that by 2 there, which will give me x is equal to 5. Okay, quite straightforward, yeah, when we're dealing with some of the simpler ones. Right, something a wee bit more complex. Here we go. Sarah thinks of a number. Okay, so let's go. We're going to go with an x on that one as well. Right, so let's start this one off. Right, she subtracts 2 and multiplies by 3. Okay. What number does Sarah start with to get an answer of 21? Right, let's start writing down this as an equation. Right, so the number she thinks of is x. So let's go with x to start with, okay? She subtracts 2 from that, so take 2 away from that there. Okay then. And then she multiplies it by 3. So I could put a times by 3, but I would need to make sure I put that in a bracket, because when she takes 2 away from it, that's going to change the number. So I'm going to keep that all together in the bracket, and I'm going to multiply it by 3. So times by 3 there, or 3 at the front there. So 3 times x minus 2. She gets an answer of 21. So let's see how she gets that one there. Okay, there's a couple of ways to solve this. I'm just going to multiply the bracket out here and work out my solution. So multiplying brackets out, 3 times x will give me 3x. 3 times the minus 2 will give me minus 6. And over here I've got 21 sitting there. Don't want the 6 there, I'm going to add on 6 to it. Must add on 6 to the left and the right hand side. Okay, I'm going to eliminate these guys because I've only got 3x on that side with 27. That would be when I add the 21 and the 6 together. I'm going to divide by 3, both sides. That eliminates the 3's there, leaves me with an x equals 9. So you must have started with 9 for this question here. Okay. Got question part B. Okay. So Sarah starts with x. Okay. What is her answer in terms of x? Well, this question is one of the leading into some of the solving equations questions, and we've already done that actually. Okay. So what we've got is, if we're going to start with x, that's up there, we've already done that. And what our answer is in terms of x is this part here, okay? So it's 3x minus 2. So what we've done is we've just done it in reverse, basically. And we've done b before we've done a. So that would be the answer there. Okay, so let's go ahead with another question. Right, we've got a shuffling. Here we go. Right, so what we've got here is we've got a triangle. The sides of the triangle are x centimetres, 7 centimetres, and 2x centimetres along there, okay? Right. So write an expression in terms of x for the perimeter of the triangle. Give your answer in its simplest form, okay? So let's go for part A across here. So part A, so remember the perimeter. We know that perimeter is equal to all the lengths added up. So let's do that. So this first length, I'm going to start from there and go along to here. So that's going to be x. I'm going to go from there all the way along to here, and that's going to be 7. So x plus 7. I'm going to go from there all the way back to where I started, and that's going to be 2x. So that's plus 2x. So there's my 3 sides for the perimeter. I have to write this in its simplest form. So what I'll do is I'll gather that together. So that's going to be x, and the 2x gives me 3x. I've got a 7 there plus 7. So the perimeter is equal to 3x plus 7. For part B, okay, the triangle has a perimeter of 9 centimetres. By forming an equation, find the value of x. So what I've got here is I've got my expression for the perimeter. Okay, so let's go and do that. So what we've got is we've got our 3x plus 7. We know it equals 19. So let's subtract 7 from both sides. That leaves me with 3x. This part's eliminated, and that gives me 12. What I'll do is I'll divide by 3. Eliminates that. Leaves me with x equals 4. We're working in centimetres here, so I'll make sure I put in my units. So that's going to be 4 centimetres sitting there. Okay, so sometimes we've got a triangle question that might ask us about perimeter. Sometimes it might be something about area. Okay, you've just got to read the question, understand what you're trying to work through on each of the questions. Okay? Right, let's look at these ones here. Can you try these? Okay, just freeze the video and go ahead and try them. Here's the answers. Right, so what we've got is we've got 3 boxes, k kilograms, 2k kilograms for that one, 3k kilograms for that one. Write an expression in terms of k for the total weight of the 3 boxes that are here. Okay, so we'll go for part A. What we'll do is we will have first box is going to be, so we're going to get the total weight. It's going to be equal to, so it's going to be k plus 2k plus 3k. Okay, and in total, that's going to give us k plus 2k is 3k plus another 3k, 6k, and that's going to be kilograms. Okay, so there's the answer for part A. So let's look at part B, okay? For part B, the boxes weigh 15 kilograms altogether. By forming an equation, find the weight of the lightest box. So that will just be what K is here. So we're just looking for K. Right, so we've got 6K is equal to, and we know that's equal to 15 kilograms. So there's my equation that I've set up. What we'll do is we'll divide each side by 6. So it eliminates that, gives me K. That there would give me 15 over 6. I can divide 6 into 15, or I could simplify the fraction down. So 3 into the bottom will give me 2, 3 into the top will give me 5. So I've got 5 up and 2 kilograms for the lightest box, or what we could say is that that's 2.5 kilograms. Is the weight of the lightest box. Okay, so let's go ahead and do question 5. Right, on question 5, we've got the cost of a pencil is X, the cost of a pen is 10 pence more than a pencil. Okay, so write an expression in terms of X for the cost of a pen. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So part A. So we know that a pen is going to be equal to, it's X plus 10. Is that okay? That's for part A. Let's look at part B. Write an expression in terms of X for the total cost of a pencil and 2 pens. Okay then. Write a pencil, so it's a pencil and 2 pens. So a pencil is X, so that's going to be X that's there, and we're going to add 2 times whatever the pen costs, and that's going to be that there. Okay then. Right, so we've got our expression for the cost of a pencil and 2 pens. The total cost of a pencil and 2 pens is 65 pence. Form an equation in X and solve it to find the cost of a pencil. Okay, let's go ahead and work this one through. So we know that for part C, what we've got is we've got X plus 2 times X plus 10, and that's going to be equal to 65 pence. Okay. Let's multiply this bracket out and we'll solve this equation. 2x plus 20 equals 65. Okay, I'm going to gather these together. I've got 3x there. Plus 20 equals 65. What we'll do next is we'll get rid of this 20 from this side because I don't want that on the left hand side. Do something to the left, do the same to the right. That eliminates this here and leaves us only with 3x on this side, and that will be 45 on that side. We'll divide then by 3, and that should leave us with, eliminating that, gives us 15. 3 into 45 will give us 15. So that's going to be the cost of a pencil, isn't it? So cost of a pencil. Remember that was X, is 15 pence. Okay, and that would be that question complete there. A couple other questions to do, just on some typical ones that you might see in maths, you know, especially maybe at National 5 kind of level. So what we've got here is we've got a question that usually comes up as one that often compares two things and says that they're equal. And what you've got to do is you've got to start by understanding that we're talking about the areas. So the area is the key thing that we're working at here. So we're working on the area. The area of this rectangle here, or picture, is the same as the area of this square that's here. Okay, so let's just go and say that. So the area of the rectangle is equal to the area of the square. So I'll just do some working here. So area, and I'll just say rectangle, is equal to the area of the square. If it's two rectangles, rectangle 1, rectangle 2, it would be okay to write down. Right, the area of the rectangle is going to be length times breadth. I'll just write that down, and that's going to be length times breadth for the square as well, or length squared. Okay, length times breadth, I've got x times x plus 10, so I'll write x, and that will be x plus 10 here, multiplied together. On the right hand side, we've got a square, and it's going to be x plus 4 and x plus 4. So we've got x plus 4 times x plus 4. So all we're doing is just taking it one small step at a time. Okay. So next to that, what we'll do is we'll multiply out the brackets and we'll see what we get on each side and we'll gather up terms. That's basically what we're going to do, and that'll solve the equation. So x times x, remember that's going to be an x to the power of 2, an x squared. X times 10 will be 10x. If I multiply this out, we'll just do it by FOIL if that's okay with you just now. X times x gives us x squared. X times 4 gives us plus 4x. X plus 4 will get us, x times 4 gives us 4x, and 4 times 4 gives us 16. Let's just gather some of the values up just now. Right, so don't want x squared there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract x squared from that side there. If I do take away x squared from that side, must do it from the other side as well, okay? Good thing is, what that does, it eliminates these here. That's great, that's that done. Over here, on this side here, I've got 8x, and I don't want it there, so I'll take away 8x from this side here, take away 8x from that side. What that leaves me with is 2x on the left, and it leaves me, because that eliminates, with 16. And what we have here is dividing by 2, both sides, x is therefore equal to 8. So it's going to be equal to 8 centimetres. Okay, so that's us worked out what the value of x is. What the question asked us to do though was to find the actual dimensions of the pictures. Okay, so let's just do that here. So the rectangle is going to be x, I'll just say by x plus 10. Okay, so what that's going to be is 8, and it's 8 centimetres, because that's going to be that x that's up the top there, 8 centimetres by, and it's going to be 8 plus 10 is going to be 18 centimetres. So there's the dimensions of the rectangle. For the square, so the square is going to be x plus 4 by x plus 4. So it's that by that there. That's all I'm saying. So 8 plus 4 is 12. That's centimetres by 12 centimetres. Okay, so that's the square. That's the dimensions. That's what I was asked to do in the question. With problem solving questions, always go back and see what they're asking you to do. Okay, right, can you try these ones here? Okay, try this one first. Okay, and then go ahead and try the next one if you can, using Pythagoras Theorem, if you remember that one. Right, so again, I'm just going to give you the answer. You could freeze the video and try it. I'm going to show you how to do this one, okay? So what we've got is the two paintings have the same area, make an equation and find their dimensions. Same type of thing again as the first question. So let's go for the rectangle. So area of rectangle is equal to area square, okay? Right, so let's get our dimensions in. So I've got x minus 5 this side, x plus 6 at this side, because we're multiplying the length times the breadth. Same for the square. What I've got is x times x. And what we have here, multiplying out by FOIL, that's going to be x squared plus 6x minus 5x, and that'll be minus a 30. And that's going to be x squared on that side there. Okay, let's gather the terms up in the middle first of all. Right, so what I can do first of all is I'm going to try and get rid of that number, because I want the numbers on the right hand side, so I'm going to add on 30 to that side, so I'll add 30 to this side. So that's going to be x squared plus x, and that's going to be equal to, and that's eliminated, so that gives me x squared plus 30. Now I don't want x squared on this side here. Okay, I don't want it anywhere basically, but I've got x squared that side and that side. I'm going to eliminate them by subtracting x squared from there and subtracting x squared from there. So they just get eliminated, which is perfect. And that leaves me with my answer. So x is equal to 30. We're working in centimetres, so that would be 30 centimetres. So again, the rectangle. The rectangle is going to be x minus 5 by x plus 6. So 30 minus 5 will be 25 centimetres by 30 plus 6 is going to be 36 centimetres. The square is going to be x by x. So if that's x by x, x is 30, so it's going to be 30 centimetres by 30 centimetres. Okay, that's that question completed as well. Oh dear me, sorry, I've been off the page. Okay, hope you heard that though. That's all I was doing, was just trying to find out the dimensions on the right hand side there. Right, one last question and we'll finish this video. Right, so what I've got here is a Pythagoras question. We're going to use Pythagoras Theorem to form an equation, then solve it to find the lengths of the sides. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just saying that this is the side C. This side here, I'll call this one side B, and I'll call this one side A. Okay, so Pythagoras Theorem, remember? So by Pythagoras Theorem, I know that C squared is equal to B squared plus A squared. Okay, so let's go for C squared. So that's going to substitute in an X. So X squared is equal to B squared. So I've got 12 for B, so that's 12 squared plus A squared. So A is X minus 8, that is, and we're going to square that. So that's a minus sign. Okay, so I'll work out this side first of all before we go ahead and solve the equation. So that's going to be 144 when I do 12 times 12. And what I'm going to go for here is multiplying this bracket. I can multiply it out by FOIL. So if I multiply it out by FOIL, what I should get is x squared minus 16x, and that's going to be plus 64. Okay, so you can just multiply it out by FOIL to get to that stage that's there. What we'll then do is we'll gather up what we can each side. So if I've got the number side of things there, that's going to give me 208 if I gather them together. So I've got x squared minus 16x plus, and that's 208. Okay. So I don't want the x squareds there, but I think the first thing I'm going to go for is going to get the x away from this side to get it onto the other. Okay, it's going to eliminate that there, and that's going to give me x squared plus 16x is equal to x squared plus 208. Okay, so what I'll do then is I'll take the x squared away, eliminates that one, Well, that's pretty good, because that gives me 16x is equal to 208. Divide each side by 16, so that will give me x on its own. And what that gives me is 208 over 16. So what I can do there is I can simplify down if I can't divide the 16 into the 208, or I can just go straight and do that, because I know that 16 goes into 20, that's going to go once, okay? I'm going to have 4 carrying over, and 16 goes into 48, that'll go 3 times, so that'll be 13. We're working in centimetres, so there we go. So x is equal to 13 centimetres. Okay, so I could think that that's me finished, but it's not. I've got to find the lengths of the sides of the triangle. So let's go ahead and do that. So the lengths of the triangle are, so C is equal to x, so that's going to be 13 centimetres. Let's go for B next, okay? B is equal to 12 anyway, that's given to me right away, and A is equal to x minus 8, which would be 13 minus 8, which will give me A to be 5 centimetres. So that's this concluded here, and what we're trying to do is just to look at how we would create an equation from a situation and go ahead and solve it to find something that we're asked to work out. Okay, so that should conclude this for today, and that's us using equations to solve problems.